on certificates.
You know, the one certificate I didn't talk about, which is another one that you have, is the Certified Nursery Professional.
Yes, Utah Certified Nursery Professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was many, many years ago.
Didn't keep up on your CEUs?
I didn't. No, but I still have the certificate, and I still remember, which is pretty good for me, the process. There were 3 tests, and you had plenty of time to work on those tests in advance. So one of the tests was a plant identification test, and I believe it was on the fly too. It wasn't like you really needed to study all of your plants, botanically, Latin names, and common names. And then the instructor would go and just put little flags in the plants at the green conference randomly throughout the trade show. And you had to go out there and identify these things correctly. And it was out of 100. So,
well,
yeah.
So you needed to know the botanical name?
Botanical and common.
Whoa.
Yeah. Genus and species. And then the common.
Out of 100.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So there's that was part of the test, and then another portion was a landscape design portion, and it was timed, and I believe it was a 2 hour.
Timed?
Yeah, it was a 2 hour slot, and you went in there. They gave you the parameters of what they. So they give you the home spec, right? But then they gave you the parameters of what the homeowner wants. So like on the north fence. The homeowner wants a screen. On the south side, this homeowner wants a patio with xeriscape garden. And on the south side, there's a shed this big by this big, and they want it to be private from their neighbors, blah, blah, blah. Then they talked about wanting a vegetable garden, and then that patio over on the other side. And so you're just like plugging in all this stuff based on what the hypothetical homeowner wanted. And then you'd plug in these trees, and you would, they would grade you on, well, if you're putting in an oak, are you taking in consideration how big that oak gets over the course of, say, 40, 50 years, and what are the other plantings around it that you've done that are complementary to that? And so it was really cool. It was actually quite cool, and I still have that drawing, and I'm totally stoked about it. But anyway, so yeah, there was the plant ID, there was the
landscape design.
Thank you, landscape design. And then there was just a general horticulture knowledge test, so which would encompass soils and just everything that we've learned, entomology, the bugs, the entomology portion of it, and it was basic enough that if you were ambitious, you could easily learn, the basic bugs out there. So your whitefly, your aphids, your thrips, your spider mites. If you know that stuff, simply brush up on it. You could pass that portion of the test. So anyway, it's a 3-part certification. Very cool.
Way cool.
And I know that there's a lot of peeps in the local nurseries. Like Cook's Nursery. Is one that comes to mind. I believe Linden Nursery. There are people in those establishments who do have that certification, and it's really just kind of there to tell you that, yeah, they know what they're doing. They know their stuff, and as plant material always changes, you may not know exactly the latest cultivars, but at least you have a general sense of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I've never worked for a nursery, so I imagine that came in handy once in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go inside the nursery business, a lot of the time in the office or just even behind the cash registers, you'll see a lot of the time they will frame those with the person's name on it, and it's just like, oh, I want to ask for Blaine Nilsson to help me because I see that person has credentials. Yeah.
Which you're not going to find at a box store. I can't imagine.
You wouldn't.
Maybe
it's possible, but
maybe at Lowe's, because I've never. I went to school with a lady who I think she was just she had gotten her associate's degree in horticulture. She didn't do that certification, but she was able. There's specific jobs at Lowe's that they want people with plant knowledge. Now I don't know if that's the same. I've looked at the jobs at Home Depot, and it was more on the inside stuff. It was like lawnmowers and trimmers and barbecues and stuff like that. That's what they wanted to try to sell or have someone know about. They didn't have anyone that knew about the plants unless they took it upon them.
Can you imagine
I could be wrong.
If
I could be wrong.
Did have people who
knew?
Yeah, I mean, they could just kill it on cells. I mean, that would just be mind-boggling. It would be awesome.
It's that.
Wait! Don't give them that idea.
Oh yeah.
Because
it'll kill the nursery industry.
The local peeps. Yeah.
Well, that's the one other thing I kind of wanted to. While we're on that, I was thinking about it the other day. So I drive past a local nursery like almost every day, and how I know that they're a real freaking nursery is they got greenhouses. Okay, they grow their own shiz.
Yeah.
It might not be like
all of it.
All of what they have,
yeah.
But at least they try to grow some stuff. You know, they're there, they're working it. Where others that I've been to, and a local place here in Vineyard just went belly up. Or I guess he retired. And he had the best freaking deals. He had like awesome perennials for like nothing because he wanted to move it real quickly, you know. So he would just say, okay, 3 for like $4.
3 for 3.
Yeah, 3 for 3, whatever. You know, come get some perennials.
Wow, I wish I would have known about that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it was only at the very front of the year because he was trying to move his inventory. And now the place that took over, they don't grow any of their own stuff. At least I haven't been there since. I've gone there once, but it was in the fall, so they had lower stuff. But they had stuff that there was mostly shrubs and trees. So brought in from somewhere else. They may get orders from like how Olson's is a wholesale grower.
Uh-huh.
They're all retail, so maybe they buy from a grower, but they have let those greenhouses just go. I guess they're more hoop houses.
Yeah.
But they've just kind of let the plastic fly off.
Oh,
and it's just kind of sad. But the other one that I go by, so I go by 2 every day. The other one I go by, man, they're up and they're running and they're pushing them out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
well, and I mean, just talking about a few of the local nurseries around here that are just freaking epic. Glover Nursery. These guys are amazing.
Yeah, they're way cool.
Sun River. They're rocking it.
They have a lot of cool, different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not what I would. Like I don't know if they grow their own stuff.
I don't think so. Yeah,
there's not enough space.
They don't, but they're knowledgeable. They've got great staff. So it's not a huge place, but you're right. They do have some unique and unusual kind of varieties of just indoor, tropical, outdoor stuff.
I would say that would be the one that is the most unique, like the things that you're not going to normally find.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Cooks. That's the one that they grow a lot of their own stuff.
Yeah.
So that's I guess that's the kind of the give and take a little bit.
Yeah, Linden Nursery as well. They grow,
Oh, that's where you grew. That's where you started.
I started out there, and we grew, half of our stuff, and then ordered the other half in. But it's very knowledgeable people there for sure.
I think that's the best thing about local. I mean, it's the same. It's the whole thing across the board. Even like with food and restaurants or whatever you buy local, it's a higher quality most of the time. But you might pay a little higher price tag sometimes. It just depends.
But by saying that, you know that your dollar is going to be sticking around in the community a lot longer.
Right, and I think that's what's mostly important.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it here, or close to you, wherever you are.
Yeah. And
those are some things that you can look for in a like, I don't know any of the other big box stores, and I mean, we have a couple. 20% of our audience is not in the United States, so I don't know what kind of growers they have there, or if they don't have box stores like the big ones like Walmart and Home Depot and Lowe's.
That's a good question.
So, stay with your local guys. Go and talk to them. One thing about growers and horticulturalists is that we want to share. We want to share our knowledge. You go in there, make a friend, talk to someone. Maybe you'll find new plants that you never even knew about, new varieties of the plant that maybe you knew about. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Go in there and ask, what's new? What's on sale?
Yeah.
What do you recommend? I mean, they'll probably have a list 5 miles long.
Oh yeah.
So on that happy note, we will let this episode go. Man, we covered a lot of stuff.
Nice.
We went from one end to the other, but
I know, it was great.
Hope everyone's okay out there. Thanks for listening. Have a good night, Brad.
Right on. Thank you, Blaine.
Hey, I want to thank Lawn Thumbs for sponsoring the podcast, and check them out at youtube.com/Lawn Thumbs. Check out the new videos. They come out every Sunday. Last one was pretty good. It showed this whole week of the trials and troubleshooting that he had to deal with. It was really good. And I want to thank Brad for coming out and helping me with this podcast. And I want to thank you listeners for paying attention and listening to us. Really appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you. And if you want to support the podcast, give us a like, give us a subscription. Go to youtube.com/Lawn Thumbs and like Freddie and plant on, Babylon.